Right now, in this exact moment, something inside you knows it cannot keep living the same way. Not next week. Not some polished version of change that begins on Monday. Now. The kind of change that does not just improve your schedule, but reshapes your mind, your habits, your standards, and the way you carry yourself through life. Because the real battle is not out there. It is not with the economy, your critics, or your circumstances. It is with the part of you that says later. The part that chooses comfort over growth, distraction over discipline, and safety over greatness. Every single day, whether you notice it or not, you are either sharpening yourself or slowly letting yourself dull. Marcus Aurelius did not write Meditations to sound wise. He wrote it to survive pressure, chaos, duty, and the crushing weight of responsibility. His words were not decoration. They were instructions. Waste no more time arguing what a good man should be. Be one. That line still hits because deep down, you already know what needs to change. You know where you have been too soft, too distracted, too willing to negotiate with your potential. The discipline you need, the focus you need, the resilience you admire in others, none of it is going to magically appear while you wait for the perfect moment. Strength does not arrive all at once. It is built in the daily argument between who you are today and who you could become if you finally stopped avoiding the work. Epictetus said it clearly. No person is free unless they master themselves. Not the person with comfort. Not the person with status. The person with self-command. And that is what this is really about. Not motivation. Not empty confidence. This is Stoicism Breath, and this is a call to war against distraction, weakness, and wasted potential. What follows are 10 daily practices that shape people who do not crumble under pressure, people who do not constantly react, complain, and drift, but move with clarity, restraint, and force. So take one breath. Clear the mental noise. Decide that today you stop riding in the back seat of your own life. Decide that before you master money, work, relationships, or success, you will master yourself. And the first place that begins is your mind. Your mind is your empire. If it is neglected, everything starts collapsing from the inside. If it is disciplined, even a chaotic life becomes manageable. Every thought you repeat is shaping you. Every belief you rehearse becomes part of the structure you live inside. If you want peace, strength, and clarity, you have to stop treating your mind like an open door. The Stoics believed your mind is the only territory that is truly yours. Marcus Aurelius reminded himself, "You have power over your mind, not outside events." That truth alone can change a life. The world may stay loud, unfair, and unpredictable, but your thoughts can still become calm, precise, and strong. That is why you must train your mind every day. Feed it wisdom instead of noise. Protect it from overthinking, comparison, bitterness, and mental junk food. Most people work on their appearance, maybe even their body, but leave their mind completely unguarded. They scroll for hours, absorb fear, gossip, and negativity, then wonder why they feel anxious, scattered, and weak. But your mind is your greatest weapon. If it is disciplined, you can stay steady in chaos. If it is undisciplined, even peace will feel like a burden. So read something that strengthens you. Reflect before you react. Question the thoughts that weaken you. Guard your attention like it matters, because it does. The quality of your life will always reflect the quality of your inner world. And the moment you start mastering your mind, everything else begins to change. If your mind is scattered, fearful, and constantly reacting to everything around you, even peaceful moments will feel like battles. But when your mind is trained, steady, and intentional, chaos loses its power over you. Working on your mind is not something abstract or complicated. It is practical daily work. It looks like reading something that strengthens your thinking instead of feeding your fears. It looks like taking a few quiet minutes to reflect on your day instead of drowning in endless scrolling. It means writing down your emotions in a journal, not to complain, but to understand yourself. Many people spend years asking, "Why is this happening to me?" But powerful people shift that question into something stronger. "What is this trying to teach me?" That simple shift changes everything. Because once your thoughts become disciplined, your actions naturally begin to follow. Your decisions become clearer. Your reactions become calmer. Your life becomes more intentional. When your emotions stop controlling you, something remarkable happens. Your peace expands. You begin to feel less shaken by small problems, less overwhelmed by daily stress. Science even supports this idea. Studies in psychology show that people who practice emotional awareness and reflection have lower levels of anxiety and improved mental resilience. When your inner world becomes strong, no outer storm can easily destroy you. And here is something many people forget. Every single day, your mind is being programmed. It is being shaped by what you watch, what you listen to, what you repeat to yourself. If you are not choosing what goes into your mind, the world will choose for you, through noise, fear, comparison, and distraction. That is why protecting your mind is not just a philosophy. It is a survival skill in a modern world filled with endless input. The Stoics understood this long before modern neuroscience confirmed it. They practiced something called negative visualization. They would imagine losing comfort, facing difficulty, or experiencing failure, not to create fear, but to build strength. By mentally rehearsing hardship, they trained their minds to stay steady when real challenges arrived. Today, athletes, soldiers, and high performers use similar techniques. Visualization prepares the brain to respond calmly under pressure. Each morning, remind yourself of one simple truth. You cannot control the world, but you can control how you think about it. That one principle, repeated daily, has the power to change your entire life. Because your thoughts are not just passing ideas. They are instructions shaping your future. Your thoughts build your destiny, one decision at a time. So train your mind until calm becomes your default, not your exception. Train it until pressure feels like a challenge instead of a threat. Train it until you can walk through difficult seasons with quiet confidence. Take a deep breath and remind yourself, "My mind is my power, and I master it every day." That is where true strength begins. And from that foundation, the next level of growth emerges, working on your emotions every single day. Here on Stoicism Breath, this is where discipline becomes deeply personal, because emotions are powerful forces. But their true strength appears only when you are the one guiding them. When emotions control you, even small problems feel overwhelming. A single harsh comment can ruin your day. A minor setback can feel like failure. But when you learn to control your emotions, even major storms lose their ability to shake you. Seneca once said that we suffer more in imagination than in reality. Modern research confirms this idea. Many of the fears people carry are not based on real threats, but on imagined outcomes and exaggerated worries. Most pain does not come from what happens. It comes from how we interpret what happens. The world will not always be fair. People may disappoint you. Situations may go wrong. Those facts are unavoidable. But what can be trained, strengthened, and refined is your response. That ability, to respond rather than react, is emotional mastery, and it is one of the highest forms of strength a person can build. Every day, life will give you reasons to feel anger, anxiety, jealousy, or insecurity. That is not a failure of life. That is life testing your discipline. A Stoic does not avoid emotions, because emotions are part of being human. Instead, a Stoic studies them. When anger rises, it is observed, not unleashed. When sadness appears, it is acknowledged, not allowed to take control. The truth is simple but powerful. You cannot always control what you feel, but you can always control what you do with what you feel. Anger can become discipline. Fear can become preparation. Envy can become motivation to improve. Each emotion carries energy, and when directed properly, that energy becomes fuel for growth instead of destruction. Epictetus taught that events themselves do not disturb us. Our judgments about those events do. When you understand this, you begin to create distance between what happens and how you respond. You begin to recognize that a moment of anger does not define who you are. A wave of fear does not mean weakness. It simply means your mind is reacting to pressure. That pause, that single breath between stimulus and response, is where your power lives. It is what keeps you calm in heated arguments, steady under pressure, and focused when life becomes unpredictable. Emotional strength is not loud. It is quiet control. It is the ability to remain grounded when others lose balance. Working on your emotions daily also means refusing to take everything personally. It means understanding that other people's chaos does not have to become your chaos. It means learning the discipline of pausing before speaking, reflecting before reacting, and responding with clarity instead of impulse. Your peace is not something that appears by accident. It is something you must actively protect. Each morning becomes an opportunity to set an intention. Today, emotions will not rule my behavior. And each night becomes a chance to reflect honestly. Did I stay calm when life challenged me? If the answer is no, there is no need for shame. Growth happens through repetition. Forgive yourself, learn from the moment, and try again tomorrow. Emotional mastery is not built in dramatic moments. It is built quietly, in hundreds of small decisions made every single day. Each time you stay calm when anger invites reaction, you grow stronger. Each time you respond with patience instead of frustration, your character deepens. Each time you step away from unnecessary conflict, you preserve your energy for what truly matters. That is how resilience is formed, not overnight, but through consistent practice. And here on Stoicism Breath, that practice is not about becoming emotionless. It is about becoming unshakable, steady, composed, and strong enough to face whatever life places in front of you. Emotional mastery is never built in a single dramatic moment. It is built quietly, in thousands of small decisions made throughout ordinary days. It happens when frustration shows up, and you choose calm instead of reaction. It happens when tension rises, and you pause instead of exploding. The world will continue to test your emotions. That is simply how life works. Traffic jams, difficult coworkers, unexpected setbacks, family stress. These moments are not interruptions to growth. They are the training ground itself. Every time you remain calm while others lose control, you earn a silent victory that no one else may notice, but your character feels it. Every time patience replaces anger, something inside you becomes stronger, more stable, more reliable. And every time you step away from unnecessary drama instead of feeding it, you protect your peace and build resilience that compounds over time. That is real growth. That is emotional discipline. That is the kind of strength that changes the way you move through life. Quietly affirming to yourself, I control my emotions. They do not control me. Becomes more than words. It becomes identity. Number 3 begins with something many people admire, but few truly understand: discipline. Without discipline, even the biggest dreams slowly disappear, not because they were impossible, but because they were never supported by consistent action. Intelligence alone is not enough. Talent alone is not enough. Inspiration fades quickly if it is not backed by steady effort. Marcus Aurelius once reminded himself that when getting out of bed felt difficult, he would say, "I have to go to work as a human being." That phrase carries a powerful message. Life is not about comfort, it is about contribution and progress. Each day is an opportunity to move forward, even when energy feels low or motivation feels absent. Progress belongs to those who show up, not those who wait for perfect conditions. Most people believe they need to feel ready before they act. But the truth is, readiness is often created through action, not before it. Discipline is not emotional, it is practical. It is choosing to act even when your mood disagrees. It is going to the gym on a day when staying in bed feels easier. It is finishing a task when distraction feels more attractive. Research in behavioral science shows that consistent habits strengthen neural pathways in the brain, making disciplined actions easier over time. In other words, the more often discipline is practiced, the less resistance the brain creates. That is why discipline is not punishment, it is training. It is an investment in your future self, the version of you who will benefit from the decisions made today. Every day, your mind will attempt to negotiate with you. It will whisper excuses that sound reasonable. 5 more minutes of sleep, 1 more scroll through your phone, 1 more delay before starting. These small negotiations feel harmless, but over time, they quietly destroy potential. The Stoic response to this inner negotiation is not argument, it is action. Instead of debating with weakness, disciplined people move forward. They stand up, begin the task, take the step. Discipline becomes a form of self-respect. It becomes proof that your promises to yourself actually mean something. Waking up when it is hard becomes an act of self-trust. Saying no to comfort becomes a sign that your purpose matters more than temporary ease. Each small act of discipline strengthens identity. One early morning creates momentum for the next. One completed task builds confidence for another. The Stoics believe that habits shape the soul, and modern psychology agrees. Repeated actions form behavioral patterns, and those patterns become character. When a person consistently chooses what is right instead of what is easy, discipline stops feeling like struggle and begins to feel like alignment. Life becomes simpler because choices become clearer. Actions match values. Effort matches purpose. The internal conflict slowly fades because the mind learns to follow direction without resistance. Building discipline daily does not require dramatic changes. It begins with one small promise. A simple commitment kept consistently. Waking up 10 minutes earlier. Completing one important task before checking notifications. Taking a cold shower to train discomfort tolerance. Finishing what was started before resting. These small actions train the brain to trust itself. Over time, the mind begins to recognize your commands as reliable, and that reliability becomes power. Once your brain trusts your discipline, hesitation decreases and action becomes automatic. That is how ordinary people become unstoppable, not through talent alone, but through consistent obedience to their own standards. Discipline also requires learning to say no to distractions that steal attention, to habits that drain energy, and to environments that weaken focus. Saying no to unnecessary noise becomes a yes to clarity. Saying no to toxic influences becomes a yes to stability. Saying no to instant gratification becomes a yes to long-term strength. This process is rarely glamorous. It is not loud, flashy, or dramatic. It is repetitive, sometimes lonely, often uncomfortable. But it is powerful, because every quiet act of discipline becomes a building block in a life that is stable, capable, and resilient. On Stoicism Breath, discipline is not presented as punishment or restriction, it is presented as freedom. Freedom earned through consistency, protected through action, and strengthened through daily practice. Discipline is rarely exciting. Most of the time, it feels repetitive, quiet, even lonely. It asks you to do the same right things again and again, long before results become visible. Yet behind every person people admire, every strong leader, every resilient parent, every successful professional, there is an invisible force working daily, and that force is discipline. It is the unseen effort made when no one is watching, the early mornings chosen over comfort, the difficult tasks completed without applause. One truth becomes clear over time. People rarely regret the days they stayed disciplined, but they often regret the days they gave in to laziness. The Stoics believe that a person without self-control becomes a slave to impulses, cravings, and distractions. When desires control decisions, life drifts. But when self-control leads the way, direction becomes clear. Ruling your impulses becomes the first step to ruling your world. When the alarm rings tomorrow morning and the voice inside suggests staying in bed just a little longer, that moment becomes more than a routine. It becomes a test of identity. The difference between stagnation and growth often begins in that single decision. Rising despite resistance trains more than your body. It trains your willpower. Whispering to yourself, "I have work to do as a human being," shifts your mindset from comfort to purpose. Movement begins. Momentum builds. Confidence follows action, not intention. Repeating the phrase, "I will do what is right, not what is easy," reinforces a standard that shapes long-term success. This is where the next level begins, developing a clear sense of purpose. Because discipline without purpose can feel exhausting, but discipline guided by purpose becomes meaningful. Working on purpose every day changes the way life feels. Without purpose, days blend together, routines feel empty, and motivation fades quickly. Without a clear reason to rise, comfort becomes the default choice. But when purpose exists, energy follows direction. Each morning offers an opportunity to reconnect with that reason. Before stepping into the day, grounding yourself with a simple question, "Why am I doing what I'm doing?" creates clarity. Purpose is not only about success or recognition. It is about meaning. It is about waking up with direction instead of confusion. It is about having something strong enough to pull you forward even on days when motivation disappears. Research in psychology shows that people with a strong sense of purpose report higher life satisfaction, better mental health, and greater resilience during stressful times. Purpose acts like a compass, guiding decisions even when conditions become uncertain. Marcus Aurelius once wrote that a person's worth is measured by their ambitions. Not by wealth alone, not by popularity, but by the strength of their intention to create value and contribute something meaningful. True ambition is not measured by numbers on a screen or titles on a business card. It is measured by how much strength is built within, how many lives are positively influenced, and how consistently values are honored. Many people move through life on autopilot, working jobs without meaning, chasing distractions without reflection, calling survival living. But a Stoic approach replaces drifting with building. Instead of chasing pleasure, effort is invested in growth. Instead of avoiding discomfort, discomfort becomes part of development. Without purpose, even freedom can feel empty, because movement without direction leads nowhere meaningful. Working on purpose daily requires regular reflection. It involves revisiting goals and asking honest questions. Does this action strengthen me or weaken me? Does this align with who I want to become? Living according to reason, virtue, and responsibility, principles valued by Stoics, means choosing meaningful action over easy escape. The full path does not need to be known all at once. Clarity often begins with the next meaningful step: reading one chapter, learning one skill, helping one person, building one solution. Each step becomes a brick placed carefully into the structure of a meaningful life. Over time, those small bricks form a foundation strong enough to support long-term success and fulfillment. Purpose is often shaped by struggle. The challenges people face frequently become the lessons that reveal what truly matters. Pain has a way of clarifying priorities. Obstacles, when viewed correctly, become opportunities to grow stronger and wiser. Marcus Aurelius taught that what blocks the path can become the path itself. In modern life, this principle appears in many forms: career setbacks that inspire new directions, failures that build resilience, hardships that create empathy and strength. Movement becomes the key to discovery. Waiting for perfect clarity rarely works. Taking action, learning from mistakes, and adjusting direction gradually reveal the right path. Each day becomes a declaration. Life is not meant for drifting, but for building. A person guided by purpose can withstand storms, outlast setbacks, and recover from defeat. Purpose transforms pain into strength and struggle into progress. Over time, consistent effort shapes identity, until one day the person in the mirror reflects the strength once imagined in youth. Working on purpose leads naturally into another essential strength: self-control. Self-control is not restriction, it is freedom. It separates those who stay focused from those who become lost in distraction. Epictetus stated clearly that no person is truly free without mastering themselves. Wealth, recognition, and comfort lose their value if impulses control behavior. Modern neuroscience supports this idea, showing that individuals with stronger impulse control make better long-term decisions and experience higher life satisfaction. Self-control allows clarity in moments of temptation, patience during stress, and discipline during uncertainty. Without it, distractions dominate attention and goals fade into memory. With it, direction remains steady even when pressure rises. Self-control becomes the silent strength that protects focus, preserves peace, and turns intention into lasting achievement. Most people don't lose their direction because they failed once. They lose themselves because they never learned how to control their reactions. A single moment of anger, a careless word spoken without thinking, a quick decision driven by impulse. These are the moments where power quietly slips away. It happens when frustration turns into shouting, when distractions become habits, when emotions take the wheel instead of judgment. Self-control is not about being emotionless. It is about standing steady when everything around you tries to shake your balance. It is the ability to stay silent when your ego demands attention, to step back when pride urges confrontation, and to choose peace when chaos feels tempting. In daily life, these moments appear more often than expected. Someone may disrespect you. A situation may test your patience. A temptation may pull your attention away from what truly matters. Emotions rise quickly, like sparks hitting dry wood, and the mind demands reaction. But real strength is not measured by how loudly you respond. It is measured by how calmly you remain when life pushes against you. Marcus Aurelius practiced this mindset daily. He reminded himself that if something could be endured, then it should be endured without complaint. This was not weakness. It was discipline. It was the quiet strength of choosing not to let external events dictate internal peace. Modern studies in emotional regulation show that people who pause before reacting experience lower stress levels and stronger decision-making skills. That simple pause, one breath before speaking, can change outcomes in relationships, careers, and health. Working on self-control every day means observing your reactions in real time. It means noticing the moment irritation begins and choosing restraint instead of escalation. It means recognizing when a situation drains your energy and having the strength to step away. Walking away is not surrender. It is strategy. It is the decision to protect your peace instead of wasting energy proving a point. True strength reveals itself in quiet moments. The person who can walk away from unnecessary conflict shows more control than the person who insists on winning every argument. Self-control also applies to daily habits, not just emotions. It includes how you eat, how you rest, how you spend time, and how you handle comfort. In modern life, indulgence is everywhere. Fast entertainment, endless scrolling, instant rewards. But learning to take only what is needed, instead of everything that is available, creates balance. The Stoics practice voluntary discomfort, intentionally choosing small hardships to remind themselves that comfort is a privilege, not a necessity. Today, this idea appears in practical habits: cold showers that strengthen tolerance to discomfort, fasting periods that build discipline, limiting screen time to protect mental clarity. Each small act of restraint strengthens the ability to command yourself instead of being controlled by impulse. When self-control becomes a habit, life begins to change from the inside. Cravings lose their hold. Emotional reactions become calmer. Decisions become clearer. Instead of living like a prisoner to habits, desires, and distractions, you begin living like a leader of your own life. Self-control becomes the key to personal freedom. The more control you have over yourself, the less power external circumstances have over you. That is freedom no one can take away, freedom rooted in discipline, not in comfort. Each day offers a simple but powerful reflection. Did I control my actions today, or did my emotions control me? That awareness alone strengthens self-mastery. Growth does not always appear loud or dramatic. Often, it is built quietly, through patience, restraint, and steady focus. True warriors do not fight every battle around them. They win the most important battle within themselves. From self-control grows the next powerful skill: patience. In a world that rewards speed and instant results, patience has become rare, yet it remains one of the most valuable strengths a person can develop. Modern culture pushes urgency, quick success, fast improvement, immediate results. But life does not follow the pace of impatience. It follows the pace of growth. Seneca once wrote that time heals what reason cannot. This wisdom extends beyond healing. It applies to progress itself. Some goals require time not because they are impossible, but because they demand maturity, repetition, and resilience. Certain seasons in life exist specifically to slow progress, forcing deeper learning and stronger character before success arrives. Patience is not inactivity. It is controlled persistence. It is standing firm when results are not yet visible, trusting effort even when recognition has not arrived. Patience becomes powerful when effort continues despite uncertainty. Many people abandon their goals too early, believing that waiting equals failure. But often, waiting is where strength develops. During periods of slow progress, endurance increases, focus sharpens, and ego softens. When rushing dominates decisions, mistakes multiply. Pressure leads to poor judgment. Stress replaces clarity. But when patience leads, actions become thoughtful and steady. Growth becomes sustainable instead of rushed. Marcus Aurelius understood that meaningful achievement rarely happens overnight. He wrote that nothing truly great is created suddenly. Becoming stronger, wiser, healthier, or more disciplined requires repetition, consistency, and time. Just as muscles grow through repeated effort, character grows through repeated patience. Working on patience daily means trusting the process even when results are invisible. It means continuing effort when recognition is absent. It means believing that progress is happening beneath the surface, even when visible change seems slow. Patience teaches endurance, the ability to keep going when motivation fades. It sharpens focus, helping attention stay on long-term goals instead of short-term distractions. It humbles the ego, reminding the mind that growth cannot be forced ahead of its natural pace. With patience, progress unfolds in the right sequence, building strength layer by layer. Without patience, frustration replaces clarity and progress collapses under pressure. On Stoicism Breath, patience is not treated as weakness. It is recognized as controlled strength, the steady confidence that progress is unfolding, even when the timeline is longer than expected. Working on patience every single day means learning to trust the process instead of fighting against it. There will be days when progress feels slow, when effort seems invisible, and when results feel distant. In those moments, it becomes important to remember that slow progress does not mean failure. It means consistency is being built. Each repeated effort, no matter how small, is adding strength beneath the surface. Just like the body grows stronger through repeated movement, the mind grows stronger through repeated patience. When recognition does not come, when others fail to notice your effort, remind yourself that true growth is not about applause. It is about mastery. It is about becoming stronger in ways that cannot always be measured immediately. Patience is not just waiting, it is emotional stability. It is the ability to breathe deeply when life delays your plans, to stay calm when things do not unfold as quickly as expected, and to keep moving forward even when results are not visible yet. The Stoics practiced a powerful mindset, detachment from timelines. They did not demand instant outcomes. They focused on consistent effort instead. Modern psychology supports this principle, showing that people who focus on long-term effort rather than immediate rewards build stronger resilience and better emotional health. Impatience often comes from ego, from the belief that success must happen quickly to prove worth. But patience is an act of trust. Trust in the journey. Trust in the effort. Trust in the idea that growth happens quietly before it becomes visible. Every delay has value. Every setback shapes endurance. Every moment of waiting becomes a training ground for resilience. Rushing growth often leads to frustration and burnout, but allowing growth to unfold naturally builds strength that lasts. Comparing your early steps to someone else's advanced stage only weakens focus. Every person has a unique timeline. Progress belongs to those who continue showing up, even when no one else is watching. Patience is not weakness. It is wisdom in motion. It is calm confidence that quietly says progress will arrive at the right time. From patience grows another powerful discipline, silence. In a world filled with constant noise, endless opinions, and non-stop communication, silence has become rare. Yet silence holds strength that many overlook. Silence is not about saying nothing at all. It is about speaking less, but with greater meaning. It is about listening more than reacting. In environments where everyone competes to be heard, the disciplined person learns to observe first. Wisdom rarely comes from speaking quickly. It grows through watching, listening, and understanding before responding. Marcus Aurelius once reflected that the best revenge is not becoming like those who act without thought. That idea teaches restraint. It teaches that not every insult deserves attention. Not every disagreement deserves response. Not every criticism deserves defense. Silence becomes a form of strategy rather than weakness. It conserves energy and protects clarity. When silence becomes a daily practice, emotional reactions begin to decrease. Arguments lose their power. Distractions lose their attraction. The need to constantly explain yourself fades. Many people speak excessively because they fear being misunderstood. But true strength does not depend on constant validation. Understanding from others is never guaranteed, and chasing it often leads to exhaustion. Epictetus advised speaking only when necessary, using words carefully and intentionally. This approach reduces chaos and protects peace. Fewer words mean fewer misunderstandings. Silence creates space for reflection. It allows thoughts to become clearer and emotions to settle before action begins. Silence also strengthens self-awareness. When the mind is not constantly distracted by conversation, notifications, or noise, attention turns inward. This inward attention allows deeper understanding of emotions, desires, and direction. In moments of silence, the mind reconnects with purpose. Decisions become more thoughtful. Reactions become more controlled. Words, when finally spoken, carry more weight because they are chosen carefully. Practicing silence does not require isolation. It requires discipline. Allowing pauses to exist without filling them with noise creates space for clarity. Remaining quiet during anger prevents regret. Holding back words during happiness allows gratitude to deepen. Responding to criticism only when necessary protects dignity and peace. Modern life often rewards loud behavior, constant posting, and visible activity. But lasting success rarely depends on noise. It depends on consistency, restraint, and quiet focus. Silence supports these qualities by reducing distractions and preserving energy. It allows work to happen privately, progress to develop steadily, and results to speak naturally. Real strength rarely announces itself. It shows through actions, results, and stability over time. On Stoicism Breath, silence is recognized as one of the purest forms of discipline, a quiet strength that allows individuals to move with intention, build with patience, and grow without unnecessary attention. Silence does not announce itself. Real power rarely makes noise. It simply arrives through steady action. Guarding energy through silence becomes one of the most valuable habits a person can develop. Listening more than speaking creates awareness. Speaking less reduces unnecessary conflict. Remaining calm in noisy environments often confuses chaos itself, because calmness carries authority without demanding attention. A quiet, focused individual moves differently, less distracted, less reactive, more intentional. On Stoicism Breath, silence becomes more than a communication style. It becomes a strategy for protecting mental energy, conserving focus, and allowing actions to speak louder than words. Repeating the affirmation internally, "I move in silence and let my actions speak," reinforces a mindset where results become the loudest voice. From silence grows another powerful practice, gratitude. Gratitude acts as an anchor, preventing the mind from drifting into negativity and dissatisfaction. When gratitude fades, the mind begins chasing things it does not need, believing happiness exists somewhere outside the present moment. Focusing only on what is missing blinds attention to what has already been achieved. Marcus Aurelius once observed that very little is required to create a happy life, and that happiness depends largely on perspective. Gratitude is not pretending everything is perfect. It is recognizing value even during difficulty. It is the ability to notice small victories in the middle of large challenges. In modern psychology, gratitude has been shown to improve mood, strengthen relationships, and reduce symptoms of anxiety. This simple shift in attention changes how the brain processes daily experiences. Practicing gratitude daily means appreciating the present moment, not because life is flawless, but because life is temporary. The breath taken right now, the sunlight seen through a window, the quiet moment before the day begins, these are not permanent guarantees. They are opportunities that exist only for a short time. Changing language from "I have to" "I get to" reshapes mindset immediately. Waking up early stops feeling like punishment and starts feeling like privilege. Working toward goals becomes an opportunity instead of a burden. Gratitude transforms effort into purpose. A grateful mind becomes difficult to control through envy or fear because it recognizes value in what already exists. Seneca once expressed that wisdom comes from rejoicing in what is present instead of grieving what is absent. This mindset keeps attention grounded and stable, regardless of circumstances. Simple daily practices strengthen gratitude. Taking 1 minute each morning to identify 3 things worth appreciating builds awareness of abundance. Reflecting each night on a single positive moment retrains the mind to search for meaning instead of problems. Neuroscience research shows that repeated gratitude exercises strengthen neural pathways associated with optimism and emotional regulation. Over time, the brain becomes more efficient at recognizing opportunities instead of obstacles. Gratitude also softens emotional reactions. It encourages patience, strengthens empathy, and increases awareness of how fragile life truly is. Recognizing that everything eventually changes deepens appreciation for what currently exists. Happiness, from a Stoic perspective, does not grow from accumulating more possessions. It grows from needing less and valuing what is already present. When gratitude becomes habitual, even small moments begin to feel meaningful. Before chasing the next achievement, pausing to recognize current progress changes perspective. Surviving past challenges, overcoming past fears, and recovering from past failures already prove resilience. Strength is often underestimated because growth happens gradually. Gratitude does not remove difficulty from life. Instead, it gives meaning to difficulty. Meaning creates motivation, and motivation fuels endurance. Without meaning, effort feels exhausting. With meaning, effort becomes purposeful. This natural transition leads to the next essential strength: character. Character represents who a person truly is when no one else is present. It is not built through public attention or visible recognition. It is formed through private decisions repeated daily. In a culture that often prioritizes appearance and reputation, character remains the one quality that cannot be fabricated. Epictetus emphasized that defining who you want to become must be followed by actions that prove that identity. Words alone carry little weight without consistent behavior behind them. Character grows through alignment between intention and action. Every day presents quiet tests of integrity. Keeping promises when they become inconvenient strengthens trust. Choosing honesty when deception would remain unnoticed builds inner strength. Acting ethically even when it carries personal cost reinforces identity. Character does not emerge during dramatic events alone. It develops through small, consistent choices that shape long-term behavior. The Stoics believed virtue represented the highest achievement, greater than wealth or recognition. Success without integrity becomes hollow, because accomplishments lose meaning when values are compromised. Working on character daily requires examining motives honestly. Asking why success is desired clarifies direction. Seeking recognition alone leads to fragile confidence. Seeking growth through discipline and truth leads to lasting strength. Character means maintaining values even when popularity fades. It means standing firm when pressure encourages compromise. It means choosing the right action over the easy one, even when results are uncertain. Over time, repeated acts of integrity create stability that cannot be shaken by external opinions. Character becomes the foundation supporting all other achievements. Without it, success collapses. With it, progress becomes sustainable, meaningful, and resilient. Character reveals itself most clearly in moments when kindness feels difficult. Staying kind when others act cruel requires strength, not weakness. Choosing honesty when lies would make life easier demands courage that many people avoid. The Stoic path does not chase popularity or approval. It follows principle. It focuses on living with values that remain steady regardless of public opinion. A person guided by character does not act to impress others, but to express integrity. Every day becomes an opportunity to reinforce that identity. Reminding yourself that actions define reputation builds accountability. Words spoken with honesty create trust. Effort given with pride builds confidence. Love expressed with sincerity strengthens relationships. These daily actions form a pattern that shapes who you become over time. Seneca once described living as if every thought and action were visible to the world. That vision of transparency reflects a powerful idea, living in a way that leaves nothing to hide. When thoughts and actions align, inner stability grows stronger. There is no need to defend false images or protect hidden mistakes. Integrity creates a shield that protects against criticism and rumor. When conscience remains clear, freedom becomes natural. A person grounded in character cannot be easily shaken by outside pressure because confidence comes from within. Modern leadership research consistently shows that integrity builds long-term trust, both personally and professionally. Trust creates influence, and influence creates lasting impact. Working on character daily becomes an investment in a future where values matter more than temporary rewards. Success may fade. Appearance may change. Recognition may disappear. But character remains long after external achievements are forgotten. Identity built on honesty and responsibility becomes a legacy that continues beyond temporary success. From strong character grows the final and most powerful daily practice, inner peace. Inner peace is not created by perfect circumstances. It is not dependent on wealth, comfort, or absence of difficulty. True peace exists even when conditions become challenging. Marcus Aurelius described the soul as the quietest refuge a person can enter. That message remains relevant today. Many people spend years chasing external calm, believing peace will arrive once problems disappear or success is achieved. Yet life continues to present challenges regardless of progress. Stoic philosophy teaches a different path. Peace begins the moment a person stops running from discomfort and begins mastering perspective. Working on inner peace daily requires protecting the mind from unnecessary disturbance. Opinions, arguments, headlines, and social noise constantly compete for attention. Without discipline, these influences overwhelm mental clarity. Choosing not to react to every situation becomes an act of strength. Living from within rather than reacting to every external event builds stability. Inner peace does not require ignoring pain or pretending difficulties do not exist. Instead, it involves learning to remain centered despite discomfort. When challenges arise, repeating the belief that difficulty exists but does not control identity creates distance between reaction and response. This distance strengthens resilience. Beginning each day with intention strengthens mental balance. Taking a slow breath before starting daily responsibilities creates awareness. A simple reminder that the world owes nothing, yet personal peace remains a responsibility, shifts attention inward. Stoic thinkers practiced this mental discipline consistently. They accepted events beyond their control and directed focus toward actions within their influence. This approach reduces frustration and increases clarity. When gossip spreads, calmness prevents escalation. When plans are delayed, focus maintains direction. When life feels unfair, gratitude protects emotional balance. These choices create stability that lasts beyond temporary emotions. Peace becomes something built through repetition. It forms through stillness, patience, and perspective. Strength appears not in loud reactions, but in quiet endurance. Remaining calm while others panic becomes a sign of mastery. Continuing forward when doubt appears becomes a demonstration of discipline. Meditation, reflection, or simple breathing exercises support this process by calming the nervous system and strengthening awareness. Neuroscience studies show that slow breathing reduces stress hormones and improves emotional regulation. This scientific support reinforces ancient Stoic practices that focused on stillness as a source of power. Inner peace allows clarity during chaos. It supports kindness even when others behave harshly. It encourages persistence when exhaustion appears. Each day becomes a new opportunity to strengthen that calm center. External conditions will always shift, economies change, relationships evolve, challenges emerge, but inner peace remains stable when carefully protected. The final truth remains simple and powerful. The world cannot always be controlled, but responses can. That response becomes the foundation of peace. On Stoicism Breath, inner peace is recognized not as comfort, but as strength, a steady force that allows life to be faced with calm, clarity, and unshakable resilience. Peace is not just a feeling, it is a form of strength. When peace becomes steady within you, it turns into power that cannot be taken away by outside noise or sudden challenges. Taking one slow, deep breath reminds the body that control begins from within. That breath alone can shift the nervous system, slowing the heart rate, calming the mind, and restoring clarity. Modern science confirms that deep breathing reduces stress hormones and strengthens emotional balance. This simple act, pausing to breathe, can be the difference between reacting impulsively and responding wisely. Saying to yourself, "My peace is my power," reinforces a mindset where calmness becomes your greatest advantage. Every day, something is being built inside you, whether you notice it or not. Habits are forming quietly in the background. Some habits strengthen discipline, patience, and resilience. Others weaken focus, drain energy, and increase distraction. There is no neutral ground. Each repeated action trains the mind in a certain direction. Either the mind is being trained to rise with strength, or it is being conditioned to surrender to comfort. The Stoics understood this centuries ago, yet their wisdom feels even more urgent today. In a world filled with constant notifications, endless noise, and fast-moving distractions, choosing patience, silence, discipline, and peace has become an act of quiet rebellion. It requires stepping away from chaos and choosing growth instead of convenience. Epictetus once taught that improvement often requires accepting misunderstanding. Growth does not always look impressive from the outside. In fact, it may look strange to those who prioritize comfort over discipline. Choosing to live with restraint, focus, and purpose can make others question your choices. That is the cost of transformation. While others chase approval, attention, and validation, a disciplined individual pursues something deeper: personal evolution. Growth demands sacrifice. It requires saying no to habits that weaken focus and yes to actions that build strength. Over time, that commitment creates results that speak louder than words. Remembering the 10 daily practices creates a powerful framework for life. Each one strengthens a different part of human character. Working on the mind sharpens thinking and improves clarity. Managing emotions builds stability and resilience. Practicing discipline ensures progress continues even on difficult days. Focusing on purpose provides direction and meaning. Strengthening self-control protects decisions from impulse. Developing patience allows growth to unfold naturally. Practicing silence conserves energy and deepens awareness. Expressing gratitude builds emotional balance and contentment. Building character strengthens integrity and trust. Cultivating inner peace creates stability that lasts through uncertainty. Together, these practices form the structure of an unbreakable life, not flawless, but steady, intentional, and meaningful. A strong life is not measured by perfection. It is measured by clarity, calmness, and courage during uncertainty. Every sunrise becomes an opportunity to practice these principles again. Each challenge offers a chance to grow stronger. Each decision shapes the identity being built. Life is not shaped by single dramatic moments alone. It is shaped by consistent effort repeated day after day. Building strength becomes a daily responsibility, not an occasional effort. Quiet growth becomes more powerful than loud intention. Steady progress becomes more valuable than quick success. Peace, when practiced consistently, becomes strong enough to silence the noise of confusion and doubt. Personal growth is not something given, it is something built intentionally. Each day becomes another opportunity to shape character, strengthen discipline, and deepen awareness. Strength grows quietly when effort remains consistent. Growth becomes visible when patience replaces urgency. Calmness becomes powerful when reactions become controlled. The person who commits to daily improvement gradually becomes stronger, wiser, and more stable than the person who waits for perfect conditions. This steady transformation becomes the foundation of long-term success and well-being. On Stoicism Breath, this message stands as a reminder that life is shaped by daily decisions. The individual becomes the architect of their own character, designing habits that shape future outcomes. Each small choice contributes to the larger structure of identity. Repeating the affirmation, "Every day I am becoming stronger, calmer, and wiser," strengthens belief in continuous progress. With each passing day, growth compounds. Calmness deepens. Wisdom expands. And through steady effort, the life being built becomes one guided by strength, discipline, and unshakable peace.